Hit Country 102.9 on Hit Music all the time. That was Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. Let's make love.
You can tell how long it's been since you've been in radio. Mine would be New Country V103. That was Luke Bryan kicking up dust. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Explore Grant County, and I am so happy that you have all tuned in with us today. Brought my brother back for his second interview. We're not going to talk about business per se as much. What we are going to do is a shot-for-shot reenactment of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Is that allowed?
Go.
No, what we're actually going to talk
start.
about. Yeah, I'll start.
Hey, he resigned from the Academy Award.
Yeah, I saw that. And Netflix put his movie on hold.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what that all pan out with. And Hollywood has their own rules. They'll do that, and then they'll just release it a month later and be like, see, you know, we held tough on the slap herd around the world.
It's a different world.
It is.
Different world. That's why ratings are down. There's no connection to everyday society. So
they don't understand that. I don't understand it. And I would guess that the vast majority of them came from nothing. So you would think that they would understand normal America.
Will Smith came from a playground, born and raised.
Yeah.
Where he spent most of his days chilling out, relaxing outside of school on a couple of guys. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, what we're going to do today is we're going to go over, as promised, the levy expenditures for Grant County Schools. And thank you to Mitch Webster. He made sure that I got these. And thank you to Tony Oates for texting them to us. And so that's what we're going to go over. That way everyone kind of knows. Starting with the levy amount, which over 5 years looks like a total of $11 million. And a little change there.
Yep, 11.1 million.
And so we'll be going over what is allocated for the entire budget and what has been spent. Kind of go line item by line item, if that's all right with you. This is more your world, dealing with numbers, than mine.
The difference is our budget comes from stuff we sell, not stuff that the government gave us. So,
well, that is a little different.
It's a little different.
Well, let's clarify that. The government did not give them this.
True. The residents of Grant County.
The residents of Grant County gave them this.
Yeah, so
it's
similar.
Forth by the government, though, but, you know, on a vote. But so the first big thing and the biggest line item that they have
for budget,
for the budget is the HVAC unit up at Union Educational Complex, and $4.6 million for an HVAC system up there. So that is the big expenditure coming in. What is that, about 40% of the budget?
45%-ish.
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, so I think it was the interview with Mitch. He talked about, and maybe some of the BOE that you had, the Board of Education people, they had no, I don't think they had air conditioning.
They had no air conditioning.
Yeah. And that's warm.
Yes.
Even though they have a different climate than we do here in the valley, that's still warm. So.
Yeah, and you wouldn't know it by now since there was like loads of snow up there just on Friday.
Yeah, well, we got a little bit here, so.
So that's the big item. They've already started expenditures on that. It looks like
a little shy of $1 million.
1.8. No, 1.8 is total expense. I don't know it. See, we have 2021, and then we have the current encumbrance, which equals 1.895. And 2.7 million remaining in that budget, in that line item. That is the big one.
How big is the school? I don't think I've ever been in the complex. How large is it? Do you know?
I've never been in it.
It's K through 12, right?
Yes, I believe it is. I believe it is K through 12. I remember the old one. That's how long ago.
I've never been in either.
So you played sports. You never had to play Union? I guess they wouldn't have a football team, maybe?
Union didn't have a football team. I wasn't allowed to travel with the football team unless I'm just kidding. No, we played Circleville was the smallest school we played.
They didn't let bench players travel with the team.
Yeah. They didn't need water boys in smaller schools. But Union would have been the smallest complex, and I remember Union because their end zone went uphill, and now this is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was all. But no, not Union. But they have basketball.
Yeah.
Do they have baseball?
The girls, the Union not the Union girls that went to the PVLs in basketball?
Possibly.
I believe it was. I thought I saw something like that. Yeah. So Union getting the love there with the $4.6 million budget for the HVACs. Then we have school paving, and that is of some roads and parking lots and things like that. Just shy of $1 million in school paving. It looks like so far Union has gotten it, Maysville has gotten it, but nothing for Petersburg so far. I think Mitch even said, or someone said on that they were going to do like down in front of the Votech,
okay,
and things like that.
In
the parking lot, I think they said. So that's a big one there. Vehicles, $200,000. We don't have a breakdown on that, if that's buses or cars or what. Just says vehicles, $200,000.
Is there another line item for buses? There's for bus aids. I don't see other line items for buses, so it's possible. I'm not sure, but $200,000. They spent a little shy of $35,000 in 2021 for vehicles.
Doors, $100,000 for doors. And once again, Maysville Elementary, all of them have gotten them, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the doors are, but if you see a new door, that's part of the levy.
Was this part of some of the safety issues that some of the Board of Education
on down that
brought up?
PHS safe schools entry and window tint,
things
like that. So, I don't know if you have to add new doors with that. Carpet replacement, that's a big line item.
Yeah.
$1 million for carpet replacement. And they haven't really done much on that. Only spent just shy of $30,000. Or actually total, $32,000, sorry, on that for carpet. Boiler replacement at Petersburg High School, that's another big one, $1.3 million to replace the boiler.
No work on that yet, but that's at least allocated.
Yep. And $100,000 for hot water tank at Petersburg High School, and they have done some work on that, it seems like, but nowhere near what it would cost. Intercom systems, $100,000 for that, but they have not done a single, at least as of this, a single thing on that. The aids on the buses was the big thing, and this is where we see the first, I don't want to say loss. What would be the correct term for that? Over budget.
Yeah.
Over budget on that.
$100,000 for 5 years, and they spent $122,000 for
in 1 year.
Yeah.
So I don't know if if that's a yearly thing, that number will need to be looked at, because obviously they're already in the hole, in the red on that for year one.
I don't know if this was in Petersburg, but I was talking with someone this week that they said teachers are being part-time bus drivers as well.
So actually, and I know this is Explore Grant County, but I talked to Josh C. this past weekend. He does the transportation for Hardy County.
Okay. And
he says, yes, they have asked any of their teachers if they want to, that they would work it out. But they're offering was it a $3,000 signing bonus? Because they need bus drivers. That was just bus drivers.
Yeah.
And here we're giving aids. But yeah, that's a tough one. Bus drivers are needed. Who else did I talk to? I talked to someone else, and it seems like it is a state issue, because there were a couple other counties that were bus driver shortages.
Well, we know Mike. He's a friend of I've known Mike for 35 years.
Yeah, since we moved here.
He drives
all the time.
All the time. He does a lot of sports driving and stuff. So yeah, it's a necessity. And do you know what? And maybe I'm wrong. It'd be a good question for the audience. I was told to get your CDL is like between $8,000 and $10,000.
Yes. So that reminded me. So I interviewed Angela Iman, who is running for District 14 for the State Senate of West Virginia, and she said one of her that she's running on is she believes it needs to be easier for people to get their CDLs to drive bus.
Easier or more affordable?
Well, she said easier. I can only interpret that because to me that is a huge investment to get your CDLs.
8 to 10 grand.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of money. I don't know what that
investment.
is in Grant County or Hardy County or but that's an investment.
It makes me wonder, instead of paying $3,000, if they paid for people to get their CDLs. I mean,
Yes.
I know when we spoke 3-4 months ago, truckers were an issue. And so is it because of the cost of CDLs? I don't know that. Other people would, but that's a big barrier of entry for somebody who's trying to get their first job to spend 8 to 10,000.
And the bus driver, pretty decent job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, when I saw the sign-on bonus, I was like, I wonder if I should take on a 5th job.
No, Mike said he sees how you do the lawnmowers. You're not allowed to drive a bus with kids. That's what Mike said.
Wait, do you have to check your oil in your buses? No, there is a step.
Yeah,
you
have
a 14
whole thing
step. I think he told us.
Yeah, Mike won't.
When you
can't use him as a referral.
I can't use him as a reference. He'll be like, no, he'll never check his oil.
Yeah.
But the aides on the buses in the whole first year, that's something to watch. I know one of the candidates we interviewed said that she was super proud about the aides on the buses. And our friend did say he enjoyed the aides on the buses.
Oh, yeah.
I think, positive thing, but have to watch the money on that. The pro officers, $750,000 over 5 years. They are way under budget on that.
So explain what that is for the viewers. That is
the police officers that are in school.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think Darius,
we see Darius around.
who retired from Petersburg. Mm-hmm. He does Maysville Elementary, I think, right?
I don't know if he does them all. I've seen him in Petersburg at the games sometimes. So I don't know if they bounce around how that's done. But the officers in school, I'll be honest with you, I don't have a problem with at all.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing.
I enjoy it.
I think that's a good thing.
Nice. Keyless door equipment, which we were talking about the doors, $105,000 is what was budgeted. And I just noticed
they were projected
they're in the hole.
Well, their encumbrance is $230,000.
Yeah,
between the 4 schools. Elementary, high, union.
So a little short on that number again. But that's the keyless door equipment. Parking lot gates, $5,000. These are questions I would love to ask. What are the parking lot gates are for? Do the kids have to swipe a card in order to park in a parking lot? Is that what we're doing for that? Things like that. Window tint, $90,000 for window tint, and it looks like $89,200 already spent.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's good for safety.
And that's the thing about in our church front doors, we have the window tint that you can see out.
Yeah,
but they can't or not supposed to see in as easily for protection.
Correct.
For people, protects kids, and that's good. Then the safe school entries, only $35,000 was budgeted to that. They've only spent $1,000, a little over $1,000, $1,500. Speed zone lights, $64,000 on speed zone lights. I got a little bit of a heavy foot.
Oh,
I kind of understand that going through the speed zones.
Well, I'm curious what that means. Is it like where the lights flash?
That's what I would guess.
Like, does it read your speed and then it flashes if it's
the one in Moorfield going through the main part of town does both.
Okay.
Flashes and reads your speed limit.
Okay.
So I could see that for
that makes sense.
Maysville, definitely being on a main drag.
Yeah.
Union on a main drag. Petersburg's kind of nestled back there, but that doesn't mean that people still don't speed. Athletic passes. This is one that some people had some questions on when I asked the candidates. $500,000 for the athletic passes for the Grant County residents to go to games for free. At first, I was like, boy, that's a heck of a lot of money. But then I started thinking of every sport that we have. And if people came to it, how much would it be? So I didn't know if that was a loss or a gain.
I'm curious how that's budgeted. In other words, do they keep track of how much, let's say just a basketball game, let's say girls basketball. Do the people who check, at the doors, do they say, okay, we had 86 people from Grant County tonight. You owe us such and such? or does this just give each school a certain dollar amount per sport?
That's a good question.
I'm curious how they come up with that number, because I mean the numbers just for the viewers like 73,111. I mean that's a somewhat of an exact number. So Union,
and that
20,000. Yeah,
yeah,
Union 20,889. So I wonder if that's how they back into that number.
And then you look at how many sports there are versus how many people come to each game versus how many games in the year there are. And we tried to figure out a little bit. And what did I tell you? It was like 25,000 people would have to come at $5 a head. Was that right? Did I figure that up right?
Well,
or is that no?
It would be 25,000. 500,000 divided by 5.
Yeah.
Was it divided by 5? Because that would be
$5 a head is what I had thought. So that'd be
100,000 people.
I can't 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's over the course of 5 years now, and at 20,000 people a year.
Okay,
that's what it was. So 20,000 people a year coming to sports. But you have archery, soccer, tennis,
football, baseball,
basketball. Now we did find out though that you have to pay for any of the championship games, like if it's a PVL or something like that, because they split the money.
Money split with the away team.
With the away team,
makes sense.
So that's just something I would love to know how they track that. Maybe Mitch will be gracious enough to come back on and answer all of our questions.
Because it looks like it's a pretty exact amount. So I'm sure they had to have some thought process to it, obviously. So.
And then the last one, personnel.
1.1 million.
I have no clue what that is, who that is, what that is. Was that raises? Was that extra people being hired?
Staffing, yeah.
But that's a big chunk. $1.1 million. That's a tenth of your budget.
So I wasn't here, and I don't live in Grant. I live in Hardy, right across the border. But I wasn't here when this was being run through the public. Did they list? Were the teachers getting a raise out of this?
So I'll be honest with you. This is in my honesty. I'm not saying this is the truth. This is in my.
So you're telling us you may lie at this moment.
No. But I'm saying because what I heard, it was very vague.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't listed somewhere. I'm just saying the things I heard was very vague. School improvements. And that's about like all I heard. I did hear about the pro officers and the games, but it was school improvements. So if this was posted like a line item of how they wanted to break it up, that would have been great to give to the voters to know. Now it passed. It's, a moot point. But, I just heard school improvements. So to see $1.1 million for personnel, I don't know what that is,
Maybe Mitch can help us with that.
Yeah.
Kind of better understand that, because they spent $177,000 last year. Year to date, 2022, $33,000. So.
Yeah, and that does not have a breakdown at all of where that money was.
Yeah.
If it was Union or Maysville or the elementary school, it's just personnel across the board. But all of that added together is a grand total of $11,142,292 that will come in over 5 years of the levy, with $7.7 million still available to spend over the course of 5 years.
Correct. They have it budgeted and allocated, but it's not spent yet. Obviously.
Yeah, not spent yet. So, and of course, the whole tax dollar amount has not came in yet either, because you'll pay it over the 5 years of the levy.
I'm in the tile industry. I want to know what the carpet tile replacement is. And $1 million is not a lot of carpet tile. Like
no, it's not.
Understanding that business, that's not a lot.
But you're more of a high-end tile. So if you looked at Petersburg High School and you saw how many square feet that was.
Yeah, but they don't use tile for flooring.
All their flooring is tile.
It could be a VCT. It could be a different material. Normally, it's not a traditional tile.
Oh, like in a home.
Normally they use tile on walls and bathrooms, floors and walls in the bathroom. So normally floors, you don't see ceramic tile, porcelain tile, stuff like that. But
yeah, it's I don't know what it is.
It's a VCT.
I'm not in your world. I don't know what a VCT is or whatever.
It's and some use terrazzo, so it could be terrazzo. I haven't been there in 25 years, but that's actually, it's not. I mean, there's such an investment in that stuff.
So what we're saying, Mitch, is if you hear this and you want to hook up with Justin, maybe he can bring in some tile.
Yeah, I can help. We're the largest privately held tile company in the U.S., so we have plenty. Trust me,
yeah.
we have plenty.
So that's the breakdown. I believe I still have this on a PDF file.
Yeah,
and Facebook's a little funny about how you can post a PDF. I might have to take a picture of it and then post it, but I'll take a screenshot. We'll put this in the comments, so if you want to see the breakdown yourself, you can. I mean, it seems pretty standard except for the questions that we had, like what's the personnel? What is that? And what are you going to do with the aids, being that you're already running over budget in year one?
Yeah.
And we're already in year two.
Well, true. And this is me guessing. When we have a budget to build something, things never are perfect. No. So you allocate and you make adjustments and you value engineer and da-da-da. So, I mean, since it's tax money, I'm assuming you can't go over the 11.1 million is my assumption.
Well, that would be my assumption too.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll pull from here and pull from there, especially if the aids on the buses was well received. I mean, and like you said, Mike, he likes it.
Yeah,
and it's good for kids. I mean, when we grew up, our dad drove bus.
Yeah, interestingly
enough, and there was no aid on the bus.
So our dad drove bus 2 different places. He drove in Hindman, Pennsylvania, which would have been me more. And we went on the wrestling team. The Hindman wrestling team was really good. Okay. Really good. And this is when Another One Bites the Dust came out. Okay. So every time they won, that song was always played on the way home. But on the way home from one of our trips, one of the tires blew.
Okay.
And, Dad pulled over to the side of the road and they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take half of your bus off and put them on the other bus. And then we're going to have your other half of the bus all go to the opposite side of the tire that blew and then keep driving to try to get home. So we go, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. The other tire blows. And then everyone had to cram in on that bus. It was a very tight ride home, but I remember that. And what was your memory of when Dad drove bus?
That was in Cumberland when I went to elementary school. I think it was Parkside in LaVale. And we went to Burger King every morning. He got me hooked on fast food. Yeah. So I still do fast food. So yeah, every morning went to Burger King for French toast sticks. I remember that. That was, good Lord, 35 years ago or whatnot. So.
Yeah. So that's the breakdown. Hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for other episodes. And like I said, maybe Mitch will come on again and give us more up-to-date on this and what each budget line item was that we had questions on. And we can keep you informed of what the levy was and the expenditures.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the first for me to see this, so I actually was very thankful to be able to see it.
Well, it's public information, which it's good they shared. I mean, I think being transparent, no matter what you do, is always the plus.
So that helps people. So, guys, I hope everyone has a great day. Take it easy. Remember, explore Grant County, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Have a great day.